closing looking into my top 200 games of all time. We're closing into the top 100. And this is kind of sad here, the 130 to 129, because some of these games are missing outside the top 100 for the first time ever. And I mean, your taste changes from year to year. I get it. But, you know, you can't help. I don't know. I can't help being a little sentimental about some of these games. I'm like, oh my goodness. Some of these have never seen outside the top 100 before. Hence the first one, Katan. I love Katan. I came this close on Black Friday, getting the 3D versions of the games for like $104 each. I was like, oh my goodness. I almost pulled the trigger on that. But I just don't play it as much. All my gaming group has it. When they came over, we played an expansion that they didn't have. And that's basically all we play now, is just one game a year now. And it's kind of sad because I wanted to play more. My nephews don't play with me anymore, so I can't play with them. I love Katan. We used to have a whole day where we play Katan all day long. And as my kids get older, I'm hoping to bring that back because I'd love to do that again and play all the base expansions. I swear, if they bring out Traders of Barbarians and Explorers and Pirates, if they bring those out in 3D form, I'm eventually going to have to buy all of these games in 3D. Because I think 3D Katan is so stinking beautiful. Those pieces, everything about it looks nice. In fact, I'm almost kicking myself for not getting it for Black Friday. But really love the game. Katan is a classic one. A lot of people wouldn't have the top 100 ever. Me, I definitely put it in my top 100 for years because to me, it's a classic. It never gets old. But I got to be honest with myself. If my game group's not playing as much, it's not hitting the table as much, then it can't stay in the top 100, no matter what my feelings are on the matter. Another game that has never seen outside the top 100 is Merlin. This is by Stefan Feld. This is a Rondell, double Rondell game. If you have the expansion, which I do admit, you should get the big box version. And it is so much fun. I have loved it for years. This is the first time this year we did not play it more than once. And I think it was going to happen because my buddy who loves this game, doesn't live here anymore, was coming in for, Labor Day weekend or something to come visit me. And this was slated as one of the games we were going to play. We were going to play this game. And he cut his trip short by about 2 days. And so I had to cut out some games. And this is one of the games that got cut. And then just never came to the table after that. And I was kind of disappointed. So only got to play once this year. And that's kind of wild because I love Rondell games. And if you love Rondell games, this is great. This has it all. We do play with all the expansions when we play the game. However, Morgana, the newest expansion they came out with, not really used that much. I'll be honest, we rarely use that one. I still put it out just in case someone wants to take advantage of Morgana's wares, but really no one wants something that will hinder you and other players and release Morgana into the game, which is what happens if you interact with her. So, but it sucks for setting it up the whole time. But yeah, I never know because we have some vindictive people in my gaming group and someone's going to release Morgana one of these days, but hasn't happened yet. But check Merlin out again. I go ahead and get the big box too. It's really good. All right, another game. First time outside of this top 100. Oh, Tera. Tera may on the surface seem like a little children's game. It's really not. You're turning one of these 4 towers. I believe it's counterclockwise and taking that action. And you're moving around this board, gathering gems, and then doing all sorts of feats to have an amount of, I think it's swords and hearts, and you want extra gems too, where you get to enter into the castle and try to flip over and find the princess. Why you want extra of stuff is because if you flip over the wrong thing, which 12 are wrong, 1 is right, or something like that, only on your turn do you get to flip over 1, unless you have that item that it's asking for. Then you can try to flip over another one. And so trying to just rush and get the bare minimum, unless you're depending on luck to win the game, because every turn you take, you're making it easier for someone else to enter into the castle and pick something. Because, process of elimination, if I've made 3 missed turns and there may be like, instead of 1 out of 12, they got to do 1 out of 8. Their chances have improved. And if they have extra, swords, shields, coins, whatever, then they can keep playing and make a few other turns. I've seen someone come in, everyone rushed to get to the castle. He got just a few extra resources. And after like 4 tiles left or something, he came in and it was the last one he picked too, but he had extras and won it. I hated that he won, but I love that he did that and took the risk on that because, rushing in there isn't always the best strategy there. But Tera is such a great game. I can highly recommend it. This is the first time it only got played once. It only got played once. Is that a reason to kick it out? No, but when I'm having trouble deciding which games will deserve in the top 100, I definitely look at the amount of times I played them. And this game only got played once this year for the first time ever. Something I need to rectify. That's why I'm shrinking my collection so I can play good games like Tera more than once. All right, 127 is a new game in my collection. I have played it more than once too, but it is Burano. Really solid game. It's just taken me a while to kind of get used to it. It's growing on me. It is definitely growing on me. This game is. I pat myself on the back thinking that I think I'm the best one to ever do a review on this game because everyone else skips over so many rules. And it was so confusing. I had to sit there and just deep dive on the rule book for like an hour before we played the game one day and still kept playing it because it's a little heavy. It's a heavier game because there's a lot going on with the type of colors and the actions. There's only 3 actions you have, but the colors are changing up every round. So those actions are different. And what cubes you pick off your cube pyramid are important too. And what ways you do it and how you stack these buildings is important. There's a lot of stuff going on here and a lot of different ways to score victory points. In fact, the last game we played, someone made a terrible decision. They didn't like the Lace Factory. They didn't think it was worth it. So no one did the Lace Factory action. They decided that fishing and getting the islands. So they're all fighting for the islands. They're all fishing, trying to fight for points there. Meanwhile, I am racking up union bonuses at the end of every round because I'm just putting more. I'm dumping everyone to the Lace Factory. And I went from, I was way behind to right behind them to a good bit ahead to blowing them away by the end of the game. They're like, what happened? Dude, you can't let someone just have free reign to the Lace Factory. So this game is so much fun. Like I said, it's growing on me. I can see this being a top 100 game if we played enough. And we'll see what 2024 brings this game. If I keep playing it multiple times like I did this year, then definitely. But like I said, new games got to be a little bit more conservative when I'm adding them to this list. All right, 126. This game is called Rap Gods. It's kind of like Thrash and Roll, but for rappers. You're playing these cards, going around these 3 tracks. That's basically it. There's a little bit more to it. It's got a great theme. It's got great art. Someone gave me this game because I really wanted it. It was out of print. I heard the Kickstarter for the new printing is not going well. I hope people got their packages, but I heard some bad things about that between the creator, the designer, and the fans right now. It's really been bad. So that's too bad that people can't get a copy of this great game. Still love the game. Still love this game. Not my top 100 anymore. Don't play it as much. It is kind of simple on the basic. You're playing a card, moving up that track, basically. But it's so much fun. I can't describe how much fun it is because at the end, it's optional, but you make the cards are telling the story of your rap life. And I don't know, I just find this game very charming. I love the pieces. I love the theme. It's awesome. It's Rap Gods. What else is there more to say? 126. All right, 125. Bag Builder, Groves. Never knew what this was. Terrible name, terrible cover, because you're not supposed to know how awesome this game is. You're digging fairies from a board and activating little spots in your area, hopefully to buy more tiles, which is the roots of your tree, which is where the tree comes from, I guess, and thereby getting more points. You're going to get low victory points in this game. It's not a high-scoring game. It's like, you're getting maybe 15, 20 points in the game to win. But there are good combinations you can make. You can kind of interact and screw other players too. And it's just such an underrated game. I think it made it to the top 100 once and then came back down. Yeah, it was 100 a couple years ago. And then it's always been on the outside looking in because new games keep forcing it out. I do love the game. And when I bring it out, I love bag builders. I don't have that many, in fact. This is one of the few bag builders I have. But this one's so much fun because you're taking, like I said, depending on the color of the fairy too, depends on how many actions or bonuses you'll get with that action too. Definitely check this out if you like bag builders. Groves is great. My number 124 is the first time ever outside the top 100, and I want to apologize to it. But Sealand, you're a great game. You made 100 last year. 2 years ago, my gaming group, they bought it. They bought the game. When you buy a game, usually we don't play it that much. They don't want to play it. They don't ask for it. And so the game didn't come out as much as it used to. And I left it on the list at 100 because this is an awesome Rondale game where you're trying to grab different types of seeds and flowers, plant them around your windmill to score points. However, you can plant them around other people's windmills to screw them out of points if they have all the same type flower. Everything's worth 0. And I've seen people do that too. And there's another cool thing in the game where you call what you think will be your highest one-time score ever on a meal. And if you're right, then first and second, the highest scores that were guessed at that time would win victory points at the end. Now, if you got a higher score, but you didn't put down one of your markers, you didn't have a marker to put down, oh well, doesn't matter. Whoever called theirs and said, I think this is going to be the highest one ever. I love that about the game. It's weird. This game has a lot of unique mechanics in it I don't see in any other game. Thematically, it's good. Historically, it's really sound because it's based off historical events. And it's so much fun. But my gaming group, they just love the game. They all bought copies. They have their own copies. They play them all the time, which means this game is not getting out to the table as much for me. And as much as I loved it, I knew last year it was time to let go. But I could not let go. This year, I have to think with my brain. Technically, it can't be a top 100 game if I don't play it that much. But believe me, this is another cheap game that is so much fun, well worth your time. All right, here we go. Card games usually don't make it that high on my list, but hey, give it up for Hollywood. It does. As you're playing cards to kind of build this movie, you need a script, a director, and an actor and an actress, or 2 actors or 2 actresses. But if you have an actor and actress, you get more points. And then there's a bunch of what I call the green cards, is all they are, and that can just add on victory points for you to make millions of dollars on your movie. Now, the only thing about this game is there's no way to make mega millions. There's these big blockbusters. I wish they would have come out. Maybe they still can come out with a new version of the game that come out with blockbusters where you can make hundreds of millions, even if you're trying to get $1 billion movie, made. But the other cool thing about it, some of the artsy cards just have Oscars on them. And you kind of want that because at the end, if you have the most Oscars, you'll get the Oscar trophy. If it's a tie, then all the other players have to decide between the two. So it's also a negotiation game as well. And at the end of the game, those Oscars you have can contribute to extra points in the game to see if you win it. Again, I don't like card games that much, but Hollywood attracted to me. And I got the Kickstarter edition with the extra pack of cards, and I just love this game. I love it thematically. It looks great. It's an auction game because you're auctioning off, good scripts, producers, actors and actresses for your movie. Like, oh, they're perfect. And then you're trying to, of course, throw money at them to get them to be in your movie. So really, really solid game. Check it out, Hollywood. All right, Mayfair Games has number 122 here. It is Toledo. Holy Toledo. Great game about making swords. Someone showed me an awesome strategy this time. This is why the game's kind of moved up again. It's been a while since it's been a top 100 game, but it did swim up the river a little bit here because I always told everyone that, first timers says, hey, you always need to put out your stores because there's not enough room for all the stores. So as many stores as you have, the better it is for you, right? And so I started putting out our stores. Well, then my nephew went, you know what? I'm not going to put out my stores first. I'm going to start building swords. And so he did. While everyone was building, he'd pay us a little coin. But the thing was, when we finished filling up the board with all the stores, he had already completed his first sword. And so the race was on, because once you get 3 people to see the king, it doesn't have to be swords. Once you get 3 people to see the king, it's over. So whether they're presenting swords or not. And of course, he was trying to create some more swords there, but he had a really big jump. And I realized, wow. So he usually has to pay for every shop he uses now to build his sword. But at the same time, he's getting a lot of points. He's got a big jump ahead of us. It was a different way to play the game that I never thought was possible. And now and I mean, once we played it, it opened up several possibilities of how this game was going to get played next time. And I can't wait to bring it back to the table again, because I had such a great time. I always have a great time with Toledo. Toledo's another game, really cheap to get your hands on, and very fun, tons of fun. For the value, it's well worth it. And finally, number 121, let's go to another game. This is his first time outside the top 100. First time ever. It's a queen game. It also kind of hurts my heart here, but via Appia. I love via Appia. You are taking cards and then taking turns, either collecting stone or crushing that stone into pavement, or laying those crushed stones onto a road for victory points, or you are moving down the road. You're paying coin to move down the road so you can get to the next part of the road and start building on that one. There's a lot of this game starts snowballing in the amount of actions you get. In the first round, you're only doing one action. That's getting stone. That's all you need to do. But then you're getting money, you're getting this, you're getting that. And suddenly you have all these little actions as you start building up this engine, really start running with it. And you can't hog resources. I love that too, because your cards can only hold so much. And it's got a unique little mechanism. It's like that push coin thing. You put a penny down, it pushes it, see what else it pushes over. That's what you're doing, is you're pushing these stones in. You're seeing what stones will fall out to be crushed stones. That's another great aspect of the game. I really, really, really enjoy this game. I never win at it. I'm so bad at it. But it's so much fun to play. And this is a big one in my gaming group. So why did it drop out of the top 100? We only played it once. I can't believe that, too. I was shocked, because usually a lot of these games, especially the games I love, like via Appia, I played more than once, but I only played it once. And so I always have a hard time of what games get into my top 100. And that's what my deciding factor is. What did I play the most? And via Appia only got once. It just got booted out. Unfortunately, you're going to hear me bemoaning this over the next couple of videos, right? Games that didn't get into the top 100. But not everyone can be a winner. But they're a winner if they're on my shelf. So I guess that's worth it. All right, folks. Come back next time. I'll talk about my top 120. See you then.